Hey guys, and over the past couple days, in typical Nintendo fashion, they've been dropping a bunch of Kirby Air Riders news out of nowhere. And hey, I'm all for it. I love Kirby Air Riders. It's one of my favorite Switch 2 games and multiplayer-oriented games in general. So I'm glad that Nintendo is making a big push to promote this game. I feel like it's a bit less niche than people make it out to be. I definitely think there is a strong appeal to this game. I just think it does have the disadvantage of being a Kirby spin-off, but Nintendo is taking the opportunity to promote this and push this to try to make the Kirby brand bigger, because I feel like the Kirby brand is growing quite a lot and is becoming a major pillar for Nintendo. Since Kirby and the Forgotten Land sold really well, and so far, Air Riders is selling pretty well too. I mean, of course, it's not Kirby and the Forgotten Land levels, but for a Switch 2 game, for a console that just released, I feel like about 2 million isn't bad. But the news that we've been getting over the past couple days are pretty interesting, and the biggest one by far has to be the new Amiibo announcement. I did not think we were going to get any more Amiibo figures for this game, as I thought the 5 that were previously announced were going to be it. I thought Sakurai even said such in the Direct. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just forgetting, but it's really cool that we're getting 2 more. So we're getting Sword Kirby on the Dragoon, in Noir Dedede on the Hydra. It's kind of reminiscent of Road Trip mode, with the scene, like, once you collect all of the machines, like, you get to pick either the Dragoon or the Hydra, and Noir Dedede chooses the one that you don't pick, and then you both take down Hyper Gigantus. So it's really cool to see figures based on that one scene, and it's also incredible that we're getting Amiibo figures based on the legendary machines. I hope they do one based on Leo at some point. And yeah, I know that the Amiibo figures for Air Riders are insanely expensive, but we have seen the prices get slightly better, as the Meta Knight figure will be $45 rather than $50, so maybe they're starting to consider that the prices for these figures are way too high, so maybe we'll see that again with this release, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. Still, these Amiibo figures do look cool at least. And another thing that dropped are a couple developer interviews, and these were actually separate from Ask the Developer, that series that Nintendo usually does when some of their games release. And I'm guessing it's because Sakurai usually likes to do his own thing in terms of talking about the development of his games. Actually, one of the articles is straight up just an article written by him. It's technically not an interview. And that one was pretty interesting. It basically kind of goes into the details of how Air Ride and Top Ride were designed. Like with how courses are designed, it starts out from a very simple outline, and then more considerations for the players are added, and then design elements are added, and also the sentiment that it's kind of like an amusement park ride, that they're kind of an immersive experience on top of being a competitive course. So it's really interesting to see that design process there. I think Sakurai usually has a lot of great insight on that. And the developer interview with the music of Kirby Air Riders was pretty interesting as well. One of the composers being interviewed was Shogo Sakai, who is one of my favorite video game composers. He worked on so many banger soundtracks, including Mother 3, the original Air Ride, Smash Melee, and several Kirby titles. Even the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition with Starcross World, he did a few songs for that, so I was very happy to see him return for Air Riders, and he did quite a few songs for this game. And it was interesting hearing some of his stories in this interview, like how he originally met Sakurai at a concert, and he was actually inspired by one of the Donkey Kong songs he heard in like this video game themed concert, and that inspired him to write the music for Melee. So I think that is fascinating. And Sakurai was mentioning how Sakai would send him emails at very early hours in the morning, considering how he worked late at night and early into the morning, which I found kind of interesting, and this was kind of for Air Riders specifically. And we even saw some of Sakurai's input on the soundtrack as well, like the fact that he wanted the soundtrack to be kind of melodic and something that a child could sing along to. And on top of that, we also got to hear from the other composer, Noriyuki Iwadare, and he was mentioning how he was working with Sakurai to add a melodic style part to some songs like Siberian Highway, so that was pretty interesting. And alongside this article, we also got a release of Kirby Air Riders soundtrack on Nintendo Music, which is really nice, as this makes it the first Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive to have a full soundtrack on Nintendo Music. And this soundtrack is incredible, so I'm glad that they released it in this way. But unfortunately, there are a few songs that are missing. Thankfully, they are ones from the original Kirby Air Ride that returned in Air Riders, and they are the ones from the anime. It's a shame that they couldn't get the license to these songs, since they were in the game itself, so I just think that's pretty unfortunate. I hope Nintendo will be able to work that out at some point, as it would be nice to have the full Air Riders soundtrack on Nintendo Music. But yeah, it's still nice that we got all of the original songs at least. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments of all of this Air Riders news that we've been getting. And thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!